Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And another day, another WarnerMedia story, right?
Oh, yay.
It seems like we keep doing these stories on WarnerMedia. This happened yesterday. This might explain why we're seeing all this push all of a sudden for diversity and inclusion.
Wait, there wasn't a push before?
Well, WarnerMedia in particular, we saw it with Rooster Teeth like hurrying up and purging all of their content, and everybody racing to be like, hey guys, we're inclusive, we're diverse, we're hip, yeah, we're everything, and it's because same with DC Comics, they brought a new guy in to run their general manager who's all about basically social justice, and they seem to be pushing that angle too. And it seems like WarnerMedia is going to chop companies that don't play ball with their internal audits. And this all is because of Ellen and... Because
they won't get sued. At the end of the day, it's because they don't want to get sued. But what's going to happen is I hope they like losing money, because they're going to lose money either way.
Yes, they are. And it's funny because I thought WarnerMedia, I thought AT&T was, you look at what happened with Joker, where they basically didn't listen to the media. Mm-hmm. Now they seem preoccupied with bad press. And again, I think Ellen is going to be responsible for shutting down a lot of different divisions at Warner, because they're like, yeah, if you don't play ball and the audit does not go well, we have no qualms, and he flat says this, Jason Kilar, we will sell off your division. We will shut you down.
Good luck with that.
Good luck with that. So WarnerMedia leaders concerned and disappointed with internal culture reports, say the memos. WarnerMedia CEO Jason Kilar says the company has hired a third party to review its production businesses and may terminate business relationships that do not live up to the company's conduct standards.
Well, if the conduct standards are fair, then that's fine. But if they're ridiculous, that's another story. I mean, people shouldn't be bullied or treated like shit based on, stuff
right.
like, gender, race, that kind of stuff. They shouldn't be. And if they are, I don't blame them for calling this out. But if it's going beyond that into political type things, then no.
Yeah, right. And that's I don't know how this is going to go. But again, I'm just looking at companies like Rooster Teeth and DC Comics and how they're just all of a sudden freaking out. Like everybody at every Warner division right now is freaking out because by the end of the year, anybody could be gone, And mm-hmm. I think Rooster Teeth is definitely in the crosshairs right now. So in the memos sent this week, Kilar and Sarnoff address what the former calls public reports regarding patterns of unacceptable behavior. Which are, the memo follows 3 BuzzFeed news reports.
Oh, they're going by BuzzFeed?
They're listening to BuzzFeed.
They're doing this whole thing because of what BuzzFeed said?
Yes.
Well then, where do we start with the stupidity on this?
I'm not saying that there wasn't shitty stuff going on at these shows and that there isn't shitty stuff going on at the shows. But I'm also like, this is Warner Brothers, which went from last year being like, screw you media, you're trying to tank the Joker, to like, oh my God, BuzzFeed said something. So
BuzzFeed says a lot of shit. Doesn't make it true or accurate.
Yeah, BuzzFeed just makes shit up. So anyway, the memos follow 3 BuzzFeed news reports centering on toxic work environments at Ellen and TMZ, and in anticipation of The Hollywood Reporter publishing a feature-length investigation.
So this whole thing is because they went and investigated and they're trying to preemptively do something.
Yes.
So this is damage control.
Yes. That's what this is about. They're talking about the workplace culture. In the memo, Kilar writes that he is both concerned and disappointed in recent stories about the company, and adds, this email is to share what we will be doing about it. The newly installed WarnerMedia leader, he just came in April, after a successful run at Hulu, adds that the company has hired a third party to review its production businesses and will be recirculating its standards of business conduct internally with current and upcoming business partners, and is encouraging employees to report unacceptable content.
But here's the thing, though. When you're obviously going to believe what everybody tells you, that's just going to... Some people are going to report legit issues, which should be reported. Mm-hmm. Other people might use it as a revenge, as a method of revenge, or, oh, look, it's time to be, it's time to, identity politics now. I don't like that. There needs to be more of this, here or that here, so I'm going to go make up shit.
Yeah, and it seems like we're seeing this. We're seeing the situation with, and I'm not saying people are making stuff up, but we're seeing that I think there are people at Warner who are aware that this investigation was going on, and you look at Ray Fisher from Justice League, you hadn't heard anything about this until they probably brought this third party in.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're jumping up and down being like, over here, we got one over here. And so I'm wondering how many people are going to start narking on each other. Cartoon Network, Crunchyroll, we're going to get people narking on each other, Rooster Teeth and DC Comics and all of that.
But just the way it's being done, it's a recipe for disaster. I mean,
oh yeah.
Should something be done? Well, yeah, by all means. If there's actual real toxic behavior being done and people are being, treated poorly based on stupid things, then yeah, by all means they need to do something, 100%. But, what I'm concerned about is we see this before starting out with good intentions and then it becomes abuse of the system.
Yeah, and that's what's going to happen. This is going to be, everybody's going to be narking on everybody else.
Or I can see somebody being vindictive enough to make up shit, and then they're just going to believe it because when you're looking for something, you're going to find it.
Yeah. And it could be just as simple as like, I didn't get that promotion I wanted. I didn't get,
And they did, so if I narc on them, they'll give me the job,
Right.
And it's like, they used to joke like in psychology, that they're gonna say you have something whether or not you do because they're looking for it. You're always gonna find something when you're looking for it, whether or not it's there. And that's what this reminds me of. Even if it's not there, they're gonna find it because they're looking for it, and they'll make it be there if need be.
So this is part of what Kilar sent out to everybody. He said, what does it mean to treat a person with dignity? At a minimum, I believe it entails an acceptance of another person's identity.
I agree with that.
I agree with that. It entails a responsibility to validate, to recognize, and to include.
To validate? You have to validate people? I understand recognize and inclusion, but now people need to be, you're supposed to validate people?
How are you? So
how is that? What does that mean?
I'm trying to figure out, okay, so if everybody's going to complain about their...
I'm not validated enough, so it's discrimination.
Right. So if you have a job to do and you have to chew somebody's ass out, are you not allowed to do that now? Because...
You're only allowed to validate?
You're only allowed to validate them. I know you just effed up and you just cost us millions of dollars, but I value your... Are you allowed to fire people?
I don't know. Well, no, I think you probably are as long as they're white and male.
Ooh.
I'm sorry, but that's probably what it's going to be. I am 100% for respecting people's identity. I'm respecting people's, including people and recognizing them. I totally 100% agree with that. The validation thing, I'm like, wait, what? That I don't know if I'd use that word.
So here they put this out. They put out an 800 number that anybody at WarnerMedia can call. We will continue to take seriously every allegation of abuse of power. Right, that's what I'm saying.
So what happens in these situations, I've seen it 100 times before. We've seen it at schools as a teacher. You put out a thing where anybody can report anything. And then people are getting reported for things they didn't do because so-and-so is mad at them. Or so-and-so didn't like the fact that they got, they got a better grade in a test. Or they got picked for, some organization and they didn't. And we'd see this. And that's what's going to happen here. It's exactly what's going to happen here. And honestly, what they're going to do is they're going to look at the color of the person or the identity of the person. And I think that they're going to, how much they follow through on it's probably going to be based on that. I'm going to be honest with you. Discrimination is bad unless they're the ones discriminating.
So he goes on to say, I anticipate there will be situations where we choose to terminate business relationships. I also anticipate that there will be situations where a person may choose not to work with us because of these rigid expectations. That's fine. While there may be companies that will do business with those people, we need not be one of them.
Well, you know what? Then I hope I like losing money.
I
just think it's a recipe for disaster.
This is to put it out there publicly like this and to basically say any grievance you have, call this 800 number and we'll get to it. And if people just, and that's the thing though. So they're saying this, but then supposedly they did this investigation into the Ray Fisher situation. And they said they didn't turn anything up. So, is it lip service too? Who the hell
I don't know, but I agree. Treat people with dignity and respect. Respect what if they have an identity they want to go by, whatever. Respect that. Yeah, that's fine. I get that. This validity thing, this whole anonymous tip. Like I said, if you just don't like somebody, you can go make up shit. And sometimes it's going to be too much. Eventually, it gets to be too much money and too much manpower to investigate all of them. Some people want to get terminated based on so-and-so said, whether it's true or not.
Well, that's what happens a lot of times. People are like, well, so-and-so got wrongfully fired. And, depending on the company, again, sometimes it's just like, we're cutting you loose because not that we believe you did something wrong, but we cannot deal with the headache of.
Well, what if somebody turns one of them in anonymously? Are they going to terminate themselves?
Jason Kilar looked at me.
And I felt uncomfortable.
I felt uncomfortable. I felt violated by his eyes.
Or he didn't look at me because he was trying not to be accused of anything, and then I felt like offended because he wouldn't look at me.
Yeah, right. He didn't look at me and validate me, but he was, we
were in a meeting with like 300 people, and he didn't personally validate me.
He didn't personally think.
So I think I need to report him. He should be terminated.
Oh my God, I've actually been in companies where they've, like the upper management didn't intermingle too much with the lower people, and then they would complain that like, well, the CEO didn't personally come up to me and thank me for what. I'm like, how could they? There's like so many people working.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just, I don't know. I think people's expectations, I think in some ways of what they need to get out of a job has changed over the years, Well,
I think this is just setting up a lot of issues.
Yeah.
I mean, I 100% don't put up with bad behavior. I mean, I agree with them completely on that. But I think the way they're going about it is in a way that is going to cause more problems than it's going to solve. Yeah,
I don't know. And this is all, going to be really interesting because AT&T, I know at the end of the day, all they care about is money. Mm-hmm. That is literally all they care
companies.
About. Yeah, they just care about money. So if this winds up costing them a lot of money.
Well, what happens to some of their big investors are the ones who are being discriminatory or whatever? What are they going to do then? What if they're the ones not validating people? You can't fire the investors.
Well, you just choose not to work with
them. I'm just saying, though, but I mean, you don't get to choose that. You know what I'm saying?
What about their advertisers? Are we not going to take advertising dollars from companies that may have people that we think might be problematic?
This is like a never-ending pit of bullshit.
That is the entertainment industry right now.
Right, but I'm just saying, this is not going to go the way they think it's going to go.
It is not going to go the way they think it's going to go. I think it's basically going to be everybody's just going to blow themselves up. I mean, between WarnerMedia and Universal now putting that statement out that they're going to be, I'm like, I think you guys are just right now. You need to be doubling down on making money. And this is nice and all, and I do believe that serious allegations need to be looked into. But like you said, it's just going to be a bunch of petty grievances.
Well, how long until someone calls for him to be stepping down because he's not diverse enough? I'm just saying, you're setting yourself up for all kinds of crap. I'm just telling you.
You are. So I fully expect to see more WarnerMedia companies freaking out to make sure that they signal as hard as they can. This is, I think, why we're seeing so much signaling now from these companies, because they know if they don't.
Yeah, I mean, definitely if there's an actual abuse of people going on, by all means, you want to stop that. But this seems like it goes beyond that, especially with like the DC choices. Now it's starting to be, because they're so afraid of being accused of it, they're putting people in charge that are just going to take it so far the other way that they're just going to lose money. I mean, there's a way to meet in the middle, and they're just going to both extremes. They're just avoiding the middle altogether.
Or, you could just let these big mega studios, mega corporations just blow themselves up and just
probably what's gonna happen.
Sit back with some popcorn and wait until the smoke clears and see who's left standing. So that's probably what's going to happen.
I think, especially with DC.
Yeah, right. So we're going to wrap this one up?
Yep.
Okay, so please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.